Good morning. I don't normally do this in the morning, but I had a dream I wanted to share and a question I wanted to ask for the body of Christ. Uh, the question I wanted to ask was, are we ready? And the dream I wanted to share was about basically about 3 tornadoes, and I guess you could say zombies. I like to think of them about as prodigals. We talk a lot about in the body of Christ, the church, however you want to say it, Christian circles, whatever, about desiring revival, desiring the reign of heaven. And we talk a lot about hating the world. And not the world, the people in it, but hating being here and wanting to go to heaven. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as we're ready to receive true rain from heaven and everything that comes with that. As long as we're ready for the judgment of God and everything that comes with that. The dream that I had, and you can find it in its entirety on my blog, and there's a link here on my YouTube page, was about I was in the church, a huge church, and it had a huge front window, and I heard something like a huge train coming straight at us, and I looked out the window, and there were 3 tornadoes, and you've seen them, I'm sure, in movies or anywhere that you might see tornadoes, and they have 3, and they were whipping around each other in the distance, and they were going like crazy, whipping around each other, and it was just kicking up dust. And I saw towns in the distance, and every time it would hit a town, they would spontaneously combust into flames. And it was quickly moving towards us. And I got this gripping fear within my being, and my heart just started beating and pounding. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I just quickly I turned and I said, downstairs, everybody. Quickly, don't worry about the doors. Don't worry about the doors, the wind. And the wind started shaking and rattling the church. Boom, 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 boom. And I said, downstairs, quickly. And I said, don't worry about it, the wind will close the door behind you. And everybody went except the leaders in the church. They just kept working. And I said, quickly, to safety. And some of them just kept working busily. Oh, I'm not worried about it. And before you knew it, all of a sudden, those 3 tornadoes were in our area. And they were blowing the dirt around the church. The dirt was so hard. It was just like this. And you could just see the dirt just blowing everywhere. And I ran out the front door of the church. And I ran out and I looked and I could see the tornadoes. They were over my head. And as I looked up into the sky, I could see the face of a man I recognized. Sorry about that. And I saw the face of a man that I recognized, and as soon as I recognized his face, the tornadoes disappeared and rain fell from heaven. And the rain hit the ground, and it began to flood, and it turned the hard ground into mud, and it was water and mud. And as soon as that happened, there were these faces, and these bodies began to come out of the ground, and these faces were scarred, and people had bandages. They looked like zombies, basically, and they just started coming out and started crying and yelling for help. And my heart began to break. And I began to cry out, and I began to turn at the church. I began to scream, help, somebody help me, please, help these people, please, somebody help me. And eventually somebody opened the door, and one by one, a few people came out to help me. And that's my question. Are we ready? Are we ready to receive the lost, the hurting, and the prodigals? These were people. They were not good-looking people. They were ugly. They were scarred. These were people that were unattractive. Are we ready? That's my question. I don't think this is what we're expecting. Let's get ready. Please. Let's get ready. Not for what we want, not for what we're expecting, but for what God has designed.